Hey, welcome to Integrated Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Sorry it's been a little bit since I've been on. It's been a crazy busy week. Got back to writing real well on the fifth book of the Stonemont series, The Blessings of Freedom. It's something we all need to keep in mind. Anyway, today I got up and I was going to start writing, and I checked the headlines and I saw that we conducted an airstrike on some Iranian-backed Syrian forces. Apparently took out several trucks of munitions. I didn't read the details of it because, to be honest, once you get into the details that's in the media, you don't get into more information, you get into more propaganda. So the broad brush pretty much tells us what's going on. The one of the cruxes of the matter is that the Russians, the Russian, I don't know if it was the ambassador or a representative somehow, said that they were only given a few minutes heads up on it from our people, and not enough to de-escalate the situation. Well, um, we know what that means, right? But in any case, and we don't know whether that's true. You don't know whether anybody is telling you the truth, their side, our side, whatever. Those aren't the things that matter. But the reason that a short period of a heads up can be important is that it reduces the ability of the other side to kind of settle themselves and go, oh, okay, well, this is going to happen. Let's don't respond too quickly. And sometimes we won't give any. Sometimes we'll give a good lead time. Sometimes and we'll say, now, settle down, stay put, or this could escalate. Under strong leadership. We don't have strong leadership right now. So that's a problem. Or we give no heads up, and sometimes we'll give a back channel heads up just to keep it from escalating. Say, this is exactly what we're going to do. Here's, may say, why we're doing it, why we're not. Pretty much everybody would know. And it's going to stop there unless, we have a response from you, and then things can get even worse. So settle down. Well, of course, the Russians are saying that, well, we didn't get enough of a notice, and this is a problem. Russia backs Syria. Russia backs Iran. The United States, I shouldn't say the United States, the Democratic Party wants a war with Russia. They've always wanted war with Russia. And now it's probably not going to be an all-out war with Russia, but it's going to escalate into proxy wars, and that can produce dangers that well, they can explode into anything. We don't particularly want. We always like to tickle Iran, but Iran wants a war with us, but they only want it with the backing of Russia. So these are little triangles here that you just have to fit together. The reason that I shouldn't say we, the reason that, I'm going to slip in here too. This is going to be a two-parter because the second part, although it's important, you need to watch this part first to understand more about the second part. I think they might demonetize this video, but I'm sure that if I put on the second part, which I'm just going to put on Patreon, I'm sure they will demonetize it. So if you're interested in that, go over and check that second part on Patreon. The link is always below. By the way, thanks everybody who's come over to Patreon. It's truly gratifying. I'm always amazed at how many people are coming over there. But anyway, back to this. The reason that the Democrats war with Russia is because they know that the wars will be fought as proxy wars. This is exactly what happened. Ever since the end of the Second World War, it was all the wars in Southeast Asia, it was the wars in South America and Africa. It was always proxy wars. And the reason that they like it is because it makes money. Okay, all wars are about money. Who was it? Was it George Orwell that said that the only time there's a foreign war is when the money classes realize that there's money in it? Well, study the every war that you can go back to. First off, I would suggest, if you haven't read it, there's a pamphlet. People call it a book. It's not long enough to really be a book. There's a pamphlet that was written by Smedley Butler that I have all of my students read. And anytime a young person comes to me telling me that they would, or they're thinking about going in the military, the first thing, I don't always come out and say no right away, but I have them read a few things, and this is the first one. War is a Racket by Smedley Butler. If you don't know who Butler is, Google him, learn about him. Amazing guy. His words, clear back at the beginning of the 1900s, carry a great weight. They're true then. They were true then. They're true now. They were true before. And then for those of you who like to follow the books that I have on my counter, on my shelf behind me when I make certain things, there's a couple more that I recommend people read. First off, read about Eisenhower. Not necessarily that book. It's a good one, but he warned us against the military-industrial complex. And then David Hackworth's book about face. Those are good ones if you want to have a more complete understanding of why we do things and how we do things and why we shouldn't do certain things. Okay, anyway, going back to all wars are about money. Look at every war out there. The war in the Mideast, you think that wasn't about money? You think it isn't still about money? Korea was just a continuation of, let's slide another one in there. Vietnam, you ever heard of the Gulf of Tonkin incident? If you haven't, Google it. That war was all about money. That 50,000 guys paid their lives for, and many, many more still out there suffering. Go back to Korea. It was just a continuation of World War II, which was about money. And if you don't believe me, it's because all you've learned about it is what you learned in school. It was assured by World War I. Did I say World War II? I think I did. World War II was about money. Okay. It was insured by World War I and the Treaty of Versailles, and the beginning of that war was about money. Go back, what's another one? The Spanish-American War, okay? Remember the Maine, right? Somebody blew up our ship, the Maine. Well, no. Turns out that's not exactly what happened. Go back and read about that yourself. The Civil War that everybody thinks was about slavery, not hardly. It was about money. And I'm not going to ask you to take my word for it, because if you know, you already know. And if you don't know, there's no reason that you should just accept what I say on YouTube. But I do encourage you to go and study it. Study, and that doesn't mean watch a few YouTube commercials. Study it. It'll take you a year. Okay. If you're not willing to put in a year, maybe it won't take you that long. But study it, and you will see what the cause of that war, and it was money. War of 1812, money. Okay, if we go back to the Revolution, that's the first war, and I know people can make arguments that it was about money, but that's the last one that I will argue with that was about values and principles above money. Anyway, this is about money. This war with Russia that they've wanted is about money. Billions of dollars trillions of dollars could be made off of this thing. And it's not going to be over here, although it will be used to clamp down on our rights more. It will be used to raise our taxes more. It will be the next big scary dog out there that they'll use to try to get things done. They don't want war with China because they're friends with China. Now, to understand the China, Russia, United States triangle, you have to go clear back into the 40s and then progress it through the 50s and the 60s. And China wasn't a player. Nobody cared about China. Russia was the big dog. Okay, Russia was the scary thing. Russia were the scary people that had nukes. And those of you who are old as I am remember all of our drills, duck and cover, hide under your desk. Hide under your desk to protect yourself from that atomic bomb that just blew up over your city, because then, that school desk, that'll protect you. And millions of dollars were made back then of people digging holes in their yards and pumping in bomb shelters, and it was the big red scare. Well, the MAD doctrine, mutually assured destruction, pretty much kept nuclear war from happening. They knew that if they launched on us, we'd launch on them, and they'd be out. And we kind of knew the same thing about them. China wasn't a part of that at all. I mean, they were a communist country, but they were still a back country, a communist country with starving people. And it wasn't until they started taking over the technology manufacturing from the Japanese that they started becoming a big player in the world. And now they are the dog nipping at our heels in that. So, but we, not you and I, but we make a lot of money off of China. China makes a lot of money off of us. We are a great customer of theirs. We're the biggest one, except Europe's about to take over the number one slot in that as far as a trading partner and a consumer of Chinese goods. But still, China didn't want to take us out. They want us as customers. And we're providing everything for them. They couldn't stabilize and target their rockets until we made it available for them through Loral Aerospace, if you remember that little deal between Clinton and the Chinese. So China is not our immediate problem, because we don't want our leadership doesn't want war with China. They want war with Russia. But like I said, they don't want a big war with Russia. They want a whole lot of small proxy wars all over the place that then they can send all of our troops over. The thing that Democrat administrations do is first they decimate the military, both physically and morale-wise, not morally, but morale-wise. And then they send them all over the world to do stuff, most of which they shouldn't be doing anyway, as the United States military. But that's what they're going to do. It happened under Clinton. It happened under Carter. It happened under Clinton. It happened, big deal under Johnson. It happened under Obama. And now it's going to happen under this one. Well, we need to, and there's another element to this, but I'm going to put it over on Patreon here after I put this up. And this will be on Patreon too, but the other one will only be on Patreon, not here on YouTube. So what does that mean? We just executed an airstrike. There will be retaliation. We won't know exactly what's happening. We never know exactly what's happening. And be ready for an escalation. Be ready for an escalation in looking for troops. They will probably lower the recruiting standards in order to fill up all those slots created by the good people that are leaving the military. That means that the quality of our military will continue to degrade, which is fine with the Democrats, because to them the military, they despise the military. They just cannon fodder, just things to send out there, either to be screwed up overseas or to be a Meals on Wheels for this or that country. So what should we expect? We should expect inflation. We should expect higher gas prices. We should expect for this to start becoming front page news in order to cover up other things that are going on. It's going to be the big right hand. Watch this hand, but don't watch what we're doing with our left hand. They're going to mix this up with domestic policy. Sure they are, because it's going to bring in more need for internal security. Remember when Obama said that we need an internal military as large, as well-trained, and as well-equipped as our military? What do you think that is? Yeah, that's not something that we want here. I remember clear back when I was in college and they were starting to talk about a national police force. And of course, everybody, was, oh, that'd be cool. No, it would not. It's not what you want. Anyway, that's an aside. I'm not going to continue on that. But be ready for this. Be ready for this to be used uh, as a way to drive prices, to make a lot of money. Now, it's going to be used to support the stock market also, because the stock market is artificially inflated with quantitative easing and all this phony money that's being put out there. The economy is being kept afloat by all this funny money. There's just a bunch of ones and zeros being pumped out uh, with all these stimulus checks. So and that's all about to come crashing down. The stock market is due for they can call it a correction, but it's going to be a crash. The real estate market's going to be due for the same thing, and we're now starting to see the bankruptcies of all these shutdowns over the COVID starting to happen. Now I know this is going to be demonetized, and they need a way to prop it up, and the way that they prop up an economy is with war. So be ready for war. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and now I'm going to put this one up, and then I'm going to put up the second part, which I might argue is even more important than this part. So I'm not trying to hustle you for your dollar, but it'd be worth your dollar to go over there and not just hear what I have to say, but hear what some other people over there have to say, and also contribute. Be a contributor, because the more that we talk about this and the more people that we have with different backgrounds, the more information, the better. Okay. I'll leave it there. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And the preparations that you need to be starting or upping today is everything. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.